guys, and welcome to my YouTube channels. My name is Vera, and today I'm going to share to you how do I get the Band 5 in Muet examinations July sessions 2017. It was 3 years back, but I guess the tip and trick that I'm going to share to you today might be useful for you. And I also want to say that Muet examinations is kind of easy to score if you really want it. Tips and tricks that I'm going to share today might be useful for you, and that is how I do the effort that I give, so just so that I can achieve the Band 5 in my Muet examinations. And I want to say that if you really want to get the Band 5 or Band 4, Band 6, you can do it. It's either you want it or you don't want it. Even if you have the good English, you can polish it into a very good point where you can score a high band for Muet examinations. So let's go. First thing first, let's get to know what's Muet first and why you have to sit for it. Muet examinations is a short form from Malaysian University English Test, which is an English proficiency test that administered by the Malaysian Examination Council. And the reason why you have to sit for Muet is that it was when you want to get into university, you want to further your studies, and yes. And Muet examinations also being accepted not only in Malaysia but also Singapore. So it's pretty important that you have this Muet, you sit for Muet examinations. It might be beneficial for you, for your future, for your career, if you want to do something professional in the future. Secondly, we need to know about the components or structures of the examinations. So in Muet, there are four components, which is listening, reading, writing, and speaking. And these four components will be conducted separately. For the speaking, is going to be 1 week earlier than the other three tests. So the flow is quite good, that you have more time to revise if you want to end the week. So the tip and trick that I'm going to share is based on these components. So yeah, let's go. Okay, first thing first, let's talk about the speaking test. Okay, for speaking test, it's a test that being conducted in the group. So that's allow you to choose your own partner, 4 persons in a group. Then you're going to get in together in the groups. So for the tips and trick for speaking test is that when you are allowed to choose your own partner, then you choose a partner that is going to help you, that's going to be considerate amongst you, and going to cooperate with you guys really well. So this is because for speaking tests, you cannot speak too much, and you also cannot speak too low of it. So you need to be very prepared, and then need to discuss among your friend who going to talk a lot and who going to pass the questions. Maybe you're going to pass your friend, and your friend going pass to another friend. So that's how listening is being conducted. So before you get in the room for the examinations, you're going to be quarantined in another room so that the question is not leaked out. Okay, so that is the first part. And then for speaking, yeah, the tips and trick that you need to discuss with your friend who's going to talk and who's going to pass this and pass that. Second, you need to be prepared of what you're going to face. So you need to talk a lot. Even on the simplest thing, try to talk and use English in your daily life, so that you are more comfortable when you're using that in the examinations. You're going to be very fluent. Even if not that fluent, you're going to be know how to use the word, know what to say next, and that is very important. Even though you're fluent in English, but you are not well prepared, you didn't do any you didn't know any exercises, it's going to be hard for you too. So you really need to know what to talk next. So please use more English if you want to improve use on the speaking test. Okay. to talk about the reading test. Reading test is being conducted in around 90 minutes, and then the percentage of this test is 40%, which is the highest of it all. And then there are roughly 6 tags that you have to read, if I'm not mistaken. There are 6 tags that you have to read. So as for me, the reading test is the hardest because I have to read a lot of text, and sometimes you don't even understand the text. So the thing that I can advise you for this reading test is that firstly, you read the questions first rather than the passage. So when you read the questions, you kind of know what they really want or what scope that you need to find, that you can easily find it in the text. So but if you read the passage first then answer the question, it's going to be like all over the place, so you don't really know what to find and what to look for. So I'd advise you first is to read the questions first and then look it in the passage. Second, I advise you to bring water because you're going to be really need to be very refreshed, and you're going to want to drink water because you're going to feel very tired of your brain. Because I feel that so it's suffocating when doing the reading text, especially when you don't have wise choice of grammar, you don't really know about this and that or common knowledge. It's going to be very hard because as for me, the test that I have before is in the newspaper about the nature, which is a fact. So when the thing is fact, it's going to be very hard. So even though the questions is already hard, but the choices of answer is also very similar, which is very near to each other, and you don't even know what to answer and what's the best. So I advise you to read the questions first and then find a look it in the passage. Second is bring water to drink to refresh your mind and in doing the task. So yeah, there are 90 minutes, so you need to like separate the times for the passage. Thirdly, we're going to talk about the writing test. Okay, the writing test is the second largest percentage, which is 30%, and same as the reading is going to take about 90 minutes for you to answer the questions. So there are 2 parts of essay that you have to write, and I suggest you that you have to really ask your teacher what's the format for this year. It's either that you can answer all agree, all disagree, or partially agree and disagree, and something like that. You really need to know which format is being used this year because every year it's going to change, and yeah, you need to confirm that with your teachers. Secondly, I advise you to really look at the grammar part if you're very weak, and try to look out of the words, add more to your grammar, add more to your vocabulary and knowledge about the thing. You can like either memorize some, if it's hard for you, you can memorize some excerpt of some sentence that you really liked, and you can use it in the any passage which is very common on something like that. So writing, it's just that you have to take care of your grammar. Make sure that the less grammar error, the better your essay is. Last but not least, we're going to talk about listening tests. Okay, for listening tests, you really need to pray hard that you are not being distracted on that day. No raining, no thunder, or no nothing. It's just that you really need to focus on what is the radio is talking about. So you really need to don't think of another thing. Just think about your task. Just focus on the voice, and then write it down your answer. And if you're not sure, then just write it down. You have a little bit of time to correct it. Either check your grammar or check the questions when refer back what they want. It's either 3 word or 5 word. So you really need to make sure that. So the tip is that make sure of the word that they want. Second is listening, very focused to the recording. And then 3, you really need to be fast and correct your grammar right after you write it down your answer. Whether you need to recheck whether you did not add some s, you did not add the ed, or if the thing is in past tense but you write it in present tense. So yeah, you really need to, like, look up on this kind of thing. This small thing is going to affect you most. So for I got highest mark in my listening test, which is 41 over 45. And yeah, I was really lucky because that day nothing happens, all is smooth, the recording is good, the question is quite easy and easy to tackle. Yeah, it's just so lucky. So you need to pray hard. There's no raining on that day. So in conclusions, I want to say that you really need to improve your English by watching the movie, listening to some song. Okay, try to like when you watch a movie, try not to look at the subtitle. Okay, you just purely listen to it and try to grasp what they are going to say, something like that. Or if you want to watch the subtitle, make sure that it's going to improvise you on the grammar part and then so the vocabulary. So yeah, I also learned a lot through these movies and song because I'm quite lazy to read the passage. But if you can find a good book, then it's going to be very easy for you. You need to develop the habit of reading English and using it in your daily life. I know it's hard, but in order for this, you really need to have to. It's not just for, let's don't target for the examinations itself. Let's target for the long runs so that you will be very confident when you're talking with other people and you can use the language very freely, fluently, and confidently. And I guess that's all from me. Thank you for watching the video. Please like and subscribe and share it to your friend if you really think it's helping you or you want to let them improvise on themselves. So if you have any inquiry, please comment below and I will entertain your questions when I have the time free. So thank you